Hi guys, just a quick video, and rather than use a community post to pop this out there, I thought I'd do it this way with the video. There's going to be no video tonight. I am mentally and physically exhausted, but don't worry, this isn't another post about creators burnout. Mid last year I engaged in a legal battle with a tenant in our old flat. As I moved to my partner's pub in late 2008, our flat was left empty and we had an acquaintance that desperately needed to move out of where he was. As a favour, he was allowed to move into the now empty flat. We set a rent of cover the mortgage, and that was it, and all was well until it wasn't. I'm not going into details because they have no place here. A lengthy and unpleasant legal battle ensued, and I have been reported to every authority, going from MI5 to the IPCC, and I have been accused of crimes I couldn't and didn't commit, and the fallout has been devastating to everyone around, not just myself but everyone else. This has not helped with video creation or my day-to-day work, as there have been more than a few days where I've just wanted to say stuff it all and give up on the lot. After a court appearance in November, I was left feeling like because I was a landlord, I was a scumbag and deserved no quarter. Yesterday this all drew to a close. I will have my flat back shortly, but this has left me mentally and physically drained. I've got videos I could post today, but the performance of the previous one I don't really want to, and I had a video I wanted to post specifically today. So this will now be removed to Sunday's slot, and if I'm honest with you, I don't have the strength or willpower to mess around with uploads and YouTube today. That's just the way it is. I also wanted to touch on a couple of soapbox points, and if you're not in the UK or from the UK, some of this won't make sense. The bottom line and the takeaway from this entire story, which I will touch on again, is everything that has happened in the last 8 months over this situation was completely, totally and utterly avoidable. There was no call for what has happened to actually have to happen. Our national health system is amazing. The guys in the trenches really do the best that they can, but they're being let down by management and the government. If you end up in the system, please go easy on these guys. They do an awful lot for us, and often for little or no return. Frontline staff in A&E and on the ambulances face stuff on a daily basis that no human should ever have to deal with, and for this they are shown little or no gratitude for their employees for doing so. Secondly, mental health support in the UK is broken. It's not even a joke. It's so unacceptably useless that it may well for most people not even exist. This whole situation was, as I've already said, avoidable, and came about because no one would listen to myself, my tenant or his parents, and when action was taken it was undermined by private sector companies who are more concerned with making money than actually treating the patient. Allowing a patient whose faculties are seriously and obviously compromised to make decisions on if they are fit or not to leave the care system leads to a situation where someone can game the system if they don't feel they need the help. The correct questions about whether this person is fit to be making the judgment that they are making were never asked. And despite the fact that his relatives, myself, my partner were making it adequately clear that the system was failing the tenant, we were never listened to. And this means so many opportunities to stop this train was missed, and everything was just ignored, which means I ended up boxed into a corner by my mortgage provider because rent is not being paid, and my local authorities who, through the tenant's behaviour, want him out. If the calls for help were heard and dealt with correctly, none of this would have happened. This leaves me with an incredibly bittersweet feeling because, as I've said, I have my property back now. I can move on with getting the repairs that need to be done. I can move on with getting another tenant in there and getting my mortgage paid, which has been more stress on top of everything else. As anyone else in the UK will be aware, mortgages have gone up quite significantly in the last few months. Finally, and some advice for anyone who, like me, becomes an accidental landlord. We made mistakes because our tenant was very, very well known to us, and we didn't follow process in setting up a tenancy the way we should have done. There are defined steps that everyone says you should follow, and when you're dealing with a loved one, or a close friend, or a relative, or someone, for whatever reason, you know and trust and have done for a long time, the whole idea of signing papers and getting them to do this and getting them to agree to that and writing letters just seems like so much work, because you're never going to need it, right? This caused us no end of problems. We thought this would never happen and we would never be put in this position. It was inconceivable that this would happen. So hey, we thought we'd be fine with this. This has made the entire process over the last 6 to 8 months so hard to manage, and it has cost us so much. This whole process, not including court costs, has cost us close to £3,500 to get our property back. No matter who it is, close friend, family member, relative, ex-partner, get the paperwork done and follow the process. I know, as I've said, it feels unreasonable to have people you know and trust sign papers and treat them within a landlord-tenant relationship, but it really is for your own protection. You don't know what's going to happen. As for me, it's a bittersweet ending. I wanted my flat back and I wanted the tenant out, and I'm happy that I can now move on and this is all over. I'm unhappy because the tenant has walked away in a worse situation than they could have done because of an inability to accept that they were wrong, and someone else might actually know what they're talking about. That's not a dig at the tenant. It's a warning to be very careful about what fights you pick to fight, because you won't win every fight. It doesn't have to be a legal fight like this, just a simple choice that you know is going to put you up against someone. Don't be a doormat, but be careful about the fights you pick to fight. Not everyone you'll win, and not every fight is always worth winning. Sometimes it is easier to just take it on the chin and say, right, I've learnt my lesson from that. How can I stop that from happening again? I'm really not happy about the end result as to where the tenant is now left. It's not what I wanted, and the tenant was offered an out. It didn't happen for whatever reason. But it all comes back to, and I know I've covered this already, everything from start to finish from this was avoidable. Going back as far as 2008, there's more we could have done, there's more the tenant could have done, there's more the NHS could have done, and there's more the mental health service could have done. I'm not going to fault the police for their part in it, and I'm not going to fault the NHS for their part in it, because they did the best they could within the framework they had. Just, I guess the end takeaway from this is these things are recommended to you for a reason, and the legal people say do this for a reason. And I'll be fair, my parents even said do the paperwork, and it didn't feel necessary. Follow the rules, follow the guidelines, follow the advice that you're given, and it will all come out in the wash as a rule. If you don't, you'll pay for it and you'll struggle. And ask for help if you need it. Again, don't be afraid of asking for help if you don't understand anything. Don't be afraid of asking for help if you don't feel you can cope. And don't be afraid of asking for help, full stop. The tenant did not necessarily ask for help in a way that was understood, because they again thought they knew the system better than we did. I'm going to stop it on there because this is getting to me again, and thank you if you have taken the time to watch this, and if there is a lesson you can take away from here, then great. I'd be happy knowing that perhaps I've helped put something else in perspective for someone. Normal service should resume on Sunday, and thank God it's all over. Take care. Bye.